I got my hands on an early version of Blender 4.0, and what happened next will shock you. Doctors don't want you to know about the new version of Blender. So apparently there's a new node editor that lets you make sound effects, and we're gonna check it out. So go to blender.org and download the new branch and open it up. You might think this is a joke, but April Fool's Day was a while ago, so there's no way I can be joking. I think it would actually be illegal for me to do that, and there's nothing different about today as far as I know. Anyway, you can see the new splash screen with art by me. Blender has done a lot for me, so I figured giving them a decent splash screen was the least I could do. So you can get to the new editor by clicking it here, or you can select it from the workspace up here. It's called Sound Nodes. You'll immediately notice this doesn't look like the other node editors. Let's maximize this so it's easier to see. Make sure to set the output to the right speakers, and we're going to be making fart sounds today because that's my favorite genre of music. First thing we need is something to generate sound. These are called oscillators, and this is the one I'll use. If you plug it into the audio output, we can hear it. And we can use a scope to see what the sound wave looks like. This one is called a sound wave, and it looks like a smooth squiggle. The oscillator has a few different waves, and they're all outlined in black right here. We have a triangle wave, a saw wave, and a square wave, but we're gonna stick with the sine wave for this one. Let's get a VCA. That stands for voltage controlled attenuator. Just plug the oscillator into that and it will let you control the volume. It's kind of like using a multiply node, except it only lets you go from 0 to 1. The wave will get flatter when you turn the volume down, and when we change the frequency, the pitch will change and the waves will get closer together. It's a little abstract to think of sound like this squiggly line, but this is showing the movement of your speaker. Your speaker cone is moving in and out in this shape, and when it moves more, it will get louder, and when it moves faster, the pitch will go up. So let's duplicate this and make a second one. I'm going to use one of these to control the frequency of the other one. You can see that even though they're the same frequency, the waves aren't matching up, especially if we give them different frequencies. That's what this sync plug is for. We can make it so that whenever this wave starts over, so does this one. You can hear the sound changing a little, but it's not quite farts yet. We can control the frequency with these two slots. The FM stands for fart machine, stands for frequency modulation, and the knob lets you control how much what you're plugging into it actually affects the frequency. The volt per octave will do the same thing in this case, but we can control the strength in here. It's just maximum strength all the time, unless we use another VCA or something separately. I'll use the sine to modulate the frequency of this one, and when we turn the pitch down, you can hear that it's starting to sound more like farts. This sounds good, but real farts will change in pitch and volume over time, so let's get some new modules to do that. We'll use an envelope for the volume, and this one creates a ramp that only happens when we trigger it. And we can change the shape of the ramp with the attack and decay options. Turning the attack up makes the start of the ramp longer, and the decay will make the end of the ramp longer. So I want a really short attack and a decay somewhere around here. I don't want to have to push this button constantly, so let's get the rampage module. This one does a lot of stuff, like it has envelopes too, but there's also this option that makes the envelope repeat when it gets to the end. And it also has this option called end of cycle, so that whenever the envelope ends, it sends out a short pulse, and we can use this to control the first envelope. These slots let you change the rise and the fall, which will change the speed of the pulse that we're getting from it. And I want the speed to be more random, so I'll use this module to add some randomness. It has 4 random waves over here. We can make this more smooth, and we can change the speed with this rate knob. I'll use one of these to change the fall option right here. And it looks like when the wave is lower, the farts get a little faster. We can also use these random signals to control the frequency of both of the oscillators. So plug these into the FM and turn them up a little. I'll change the decay with some randomness too, so sometimes the farts last a little longer. Let's add a delay module now. It'll basically repeat the farts and have them get quieter over time, kind of like an echo. And I'll keep it mono by only using the left input. The big dial in the middle makes the echoes closer or further apart, so let's turn it down so it only happens every few seconds. Turning the feedback up makes the echoes happen for longer, and all the way down makes it so that there's only one echo. If I change the delay while it's going, it'll add this tape warping effect. And we can add some randomness to this with this slot right here, and decide the strength with this dial. Alright, let's spice this up now with some reverb. Reverb is the cherry on top that makes the farts more mysterious and dramatic. The dry sound is our original sound that's going into the delay, and the wet is only the delay without any of the original sound. And this is about how wet I want my farts to be. These knobs are for the room size and how long the reverb lasts, so you can decide if someone farted in a church or maybe in a hallway. Now all that's left to do is dim the lights and enjoy your masterpiece. So if you made it this far, comment with a cheese emoji. And if you didn't figure it out yet, this isn't actually Blender. It's a free and open source program called VCV Rack. It's a modular synthesizer emulator, so it looks like this because it's mimicking how this stuff works in real life. I really like it, and I do actually think that if you're into shader nodes or geometry nodes, you might enjoy it too. If you want to learn more about it from someone more knowledgeable than me, you can check out Omri Cohen's YouTube channel. That's how I learned most of what I know. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good one.